Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about David Bowie. But not just as a musician. We're going to look at him as a master strategist of identity.
Okay, let's just park on this for a second, because this one quote, it's the key. It is the absolute key to understanding his entire career. He wasn't just reacting to the world around him, blending in. No, he was actively reshaping it. He didn't just change. He made the world change around him.
So, to really get a handle on this transformer, we have to go back, way back to a boy named David Jones, growing up in a place he himself called a cultural wilderness.
You know that feeling of being stuck in the suburbs where absolutely nothing seems to happen? Well, for Bowie, that boredom was the catalyst for everything. It forced him to build this giant, elaborate world inside his own head. And right there, that's where this lifelong theme of the outsider begins, the alien observing humanity from a distance. That idea is going to pop up again and again.
And his influences? Wow. It was this wild cocktail of stuff. On one hand, his half-brother Terry is opening his mind to modern jazz, Jack Kerouac, even the occult. All this really heady, intellectual stuff. But on the other hand, there's this very real, very personal fear of mental instability that ran in his family. And then you throw in Lindsay Kemp, who taught him mime. Mime! He learned that his own body could be an instrument for storytelling, just as powerful as his voice.
So the 60s for Bowie, they were basically a decade-long experiment. A laboratory where he tried and failed over and over again. He cycled through all these bands and different styles just searching for a voice. And then, finally, boom, the breakthrough. He realizes, what if I combine the theater I learned from Kemp with my music? The result? Major Tom, the lonely astronaut floating in his tin can, who just perfectly captured the awe and the anxiety of the whole space race.
All right, so let's jump into the 1970s, because this is where everything he's been learning just explodes. We're about to see a parade of characters that would completely redefine what a rock star could even be.
And first up, the big one, Ziggy Stardust. You have to understand, Ziggy wasn't just a cool outfit and some makeup. No way. He was a fully realized character with a whole backstory. This persona let Bowie play with these huge ideas, fame, gender, alienation, all on a global stage, while the real David Jones could kind of stay protected behind the mask.
I mean, think about what rock and roll was like back then. It was super macho, right? And then Bowie shows up with all this gender blurriness. He completely short-circuited the whole thing. And what that did, what was so powerful, is that it created these, safe zones for his audience. All the kids who felt like outsiders suddenly had a hero. He basically gave them permission to explore who they really were.
And if you want to see the sheer range he was capable of, just look at this. You go from Ziggy, this colorful, hopeful alien messiah, to this, the Thin White Duke. It's a complete 180. This character is cold, emotionless, dressed in black and white, almost fascistic. It was born out of a really dark, drug-fueled time for him in Los Angeles, and you can really feel it. It's chilling.
You can literally map out the progression here. Each album wasn't just a collection of songs. It was the birth and, often, the very public death of an entire world. He'd build up a character like Ziggy and then suddenly kill him off on stage. Then came Aladdin Sane, which was like Ziggy goes to America and starts to crack under the pressure. Then the dystopian Halloween Jack. Each persona was a complete story in itself.
Okay, so here's the really crucial point. All this shapeshifting wasn't just for show. Bowie was a true innovator in every sense of the word. Not just in his music, but in technology and, get this, even in finance. So by the mid-70s, he's a massive superstar, but he's also burning out. To save himself, really, he escapes to West Berlin. And there, with the legendary Brian Eno, he sheds all the characters. He gets introspective. And the 3 albums they made, the Berlin Trilogy, are just groundbreaking. They're ambient, electronic, fragmented. Many people say they're the very DNA of post-punk and all the electronic music that came after. $55 million. In 1997, David Bowie raised $55 million. How? Not with a record deal. He did it with a financial innovation that absolutely shocked the music industry. He invented something called Bowie Bonds. He literally turned his future song royalties, his own intellectual property, into a tradable financial asset. He packaged up the money he was going to make and sold it as bonds to investors to get a huge chunk of cash right away. Nobody had ever done that before. It was a total stroke of genius. And if you think that was forward thinking, look at what he was doing with the internet. We're talking the 90s here, okay? Years before Spotify or iTunes, he released the first online-only single by a major artist. Then he launched his own internet service provider, BowieNet, which was basically an early social network for his fans. Then he sold a whole album online before it ever hits the stores. The man was just living in the future. It's incredible.
So this lifelong project of his, merging art and existence, it all culminates in his final act. And it might just be his greatest, most profound act of creative control.
After about a decade of public silence, he came back with one last album, Blackstar. And the thing is, he knew it would be his last. He recorded it while battling cancer, and he meticulously planned its release as a parting gift, a final transmission to all of us. His longtime producer and friend, Tony Visconti, confirmed it. He said Bowie's death was no different from his life, a work of art. Think about that for a second. He didn't just pass away. He choreographed his own exit. He transformed the very act of dying into one last, powerful, moving artistic statement. And this is where it all just comes together so perfectly. The video for the song Blackstar shows the body of a dead astronaut. It's a conscious act, bringing his entire career full circle. He's closing the book on Major Tom, the very character that launched him into the stratosphere more than 40 years earlier. So in the end, Bowie's legacy, it isn't just the music, or the fashion, or the films. It's this profound question that he leaves for all of us. How do we construct our own lives? And what does it mean to truly live and die as a work of art?